Today we're going to be tackling a topic that is much more serious than the usual content that I tend to upload here on this channel. This is something that literally haunts my nightmares. This is something that I spend a large amount of hours thinking about every single day. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for an extremely long time. And you might be wondering, why then have I not talked about it up until this point? And the reasoning is, me posting a video like this on this particular channel is going to inevitably lead to negative repercussions on the content that I post immediately after it, because that is just the way that YouTube works. And in case some of you guys have questions as to why that is, you have to stick around throughout the video as I will be explaining that. And it's not going to be just me explaining it, because as you can see, we have a couple of segments from a Jacksepticeye video, which is the reason why I'm talking about this now, because now I have a much larger content creator bringing these topics to light. Because when you are someone of my size, which is like 197,000 subs or whatever it is, which in the grand scheme of things nowadays, you're pretty much small fry with numbers like those. But when you have someone the size of Jacksepticeye, which I believe is currently on like 24 million subs or something like that, that adds a lot more credibility to the argument, and therefore I figured, this is a good time to talk about this. But before we get into it, I want to give you guys the entire background as to how this particular situation got started, because this didn't start with Jacksepticeye. The whole thing started with a video from CoryxKenshin. Now, I'm going to be linking both of the videos, the Jacksepticeye video as well as Cory's video, in the description of this video, because I would like you to check those videos out for yourself so that you can get full context of the situation. But basically, in this video, Cory points out unfair treatment on the part of YouTube. Now, as you guys can see, Cory is a reasonably large content creator. He's got 14 million subs. I think that is huge. I'm going to say reasonable because there are people with more subs, but whatever. He's got 14 million subs and he does content for YouTube. I haven't really watched any of his stuff, I'm going to be honest, because he tends to do the more mainstream stuff that most of the larger YouTubers do, the games that like make the rounds with the large content creators, and that's usually not something I consume. But in this video, Cory basically accuses YouTube of either being racist or playing favorites. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play a little bit of his video and go.
YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two.
Now, for full context, like I said, I would prefer that you watch his video, but in case you guys want a very quick summary of the situation, Cory uploaded a game, Mortuary's Assistant, I believe it is. He uploaded a video of it, and it shows, Mortuary's Assistant's apparently a little bit of an edgy game. It shows, like, content that could be considered, on the edge of what is acceptable for YouTube. And apparently his video got age restricted. And then he went on to check, and he saw that Markiplier had the same scenes in his video. He talked to his YouTube rep about it, and then they basically removed the age restriction from his video based on the fact that Markiplier's video, had the same scenes on there, which was weird. And then later down the line, they went ahead and they applied age restriction to both of them. So it's a pretty nasty situation to begin with, because, like, you can clearly see favoritism there, because Markiplier uploads the same thing, essentially, and he doesn't get like an age restriction, which, by the way, for those of you that don't understand, age restriction severely limits the reach of your videos. That's just the way that it is. I know that some people don't understand that. They're like, well, if I want to watch age restricted content, I can. The problem is that content does not get pushed to people's inboxes. Even if you are subscribed, even if you have your bell thing on, it doesn't actually matter. A lot of that content straight up is not served, because that is the way that the YouTube algorithm works. Now, naturally, here he points out favoritism, he points out racism, and it's like, I'm not going to be tackling racism because, quite simply, I'm a white man. What do I know about racism on the internet? What I can tell you is that from my experience, I have seen that there definitely is racism on the internet. There's a lot of people, whether they are closeted racists or whatever, and they speak in codes and whatnot, but you can usually tell, like, okay, this person is clearly a racist. So to make the claim that, like, there's absolutely no racism whatsoever on YouTube, I think would be completely disingenuous. I can't make the claim that there is, just like I can't make the claim that there isn't. But my experience on the internet tells me that, yeah, there's probably some racial bias all over the place, so why wouldn't there be on YouTube? But regardless of that, I don't want to dive too deeply into the whole racism discussion. I do want to talk about the favoritism discussion, because most definitely that is something that I can guarantee to you YouTube definitely plays favorites. You want to know a very quick example of how you know that YouTube plays favorites? Look at my YouTube channel, right? I'm coming up on 197,000 subscribers. And you guys know, I mean, you might know, you might not know because maybe you're not into the whole content creation sphere or whatever, but it's like whenever a content creator reaches 1,000 subscribers, they're eligible to receive a YouTube plaque. Now, I'm currently coming up on 200,000. Guess who still doesn't have a plaque? Now, I don't care about a stupid plaque. It doesn't actually mean anything. I would like to have it, you know, because everybody else pretty much has it. Or at least, let's say everybody that's on the YouTube good boy list has it. Maybe I'm not on the YouTube good boy list. I don't know. I've been told you have to go claim it on your creator dashboard. I go to my creator dashboard. There's no link for me to claim it. I've seen the screenshots of where the thing is supposed to show up. I don't have it. So right off the bat, you can clearly see that the rules don't apply the same to everybody. Some people get certain things, some people don't. But besides the point, so Jacksepticeye made a video talking about this, which once again, I would definitely recommend people go and watch Jacksepticeye video for full context of the clips that I'm going to play here. But besides the whole thing about Cory and Markiplier and that whole situation, Jacksepticeye brought a couple of more points that were extremely important to me because these are things that, like I said at the start of this video, these are things that I basically lose sleep over. It's even hard for me to talk about this because I think about this so much. These are things that I'm constantly thinking about, and they very much shape the content that I end up putting on the channel, which ends up not always being the things that I would like to put on the channel, and here is why.
There's sometimes when I'm like, I don't know if I should upload that because I don't know if it'll actually like go into the system. I don't know if it'll do well. I don't know if YouTube will actually serve this up to people. I don't know if it'll get flagged. I don't like all these things going through my head. And then it's just like, well, I just don't want to upload it now because it just killed the fun in uploading my own content. And that's why I make content, is just for the fun of it, just to like get out of my own head, a piece of escapism, to have fun with everybody at home. But the fact that like this year I've had to second guess absolutely everything I'm doing down to like titles and thumbnails because that's the new meta with everything. It's like you have to think of a title first and then think of a really slapping thumbnail that like clickbaits people into your video instead of just having it be like, hey, I'm uploading an hour of this video that's a game and it's fun.
So this is one of the first things that I want to point out for those of you that are not aware yet, because I know that several people still think there's still this notion around YouTube content creation that people always say, you make good content and you'll get recognized. No. What matters nowadays is your title and your thumbnail. Like, you know how when a video game gets published, they spend like, I don't know, 80% of the video game's budget in marketing as opposed to the actual development of the video game? Videos on YouTube nowadays is exactly the same thing. You should spend much more time working on your thumbnail and on your title than you should working on your content. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, no, there's no way, you're completely wrong. I guarantee you that I am correct. This is not something that I think I might be right. This is not something that I'm not 100% sure. This is something that I guarantee you is how it works. And in case you guys are like, oh, but I've seen this video from this content creator and he has pretty decent views. If he had a better thumbnail and a better title, he would have 10 times those amounts of views. And this is not an exaggeration. It's all about the thumbnail and the title, and the content in the video is not even that important. And to echo something that a good friend of mine has told me, when it comes to YouTube, it doesn't matter if you're the worst, so long as you're the first. Nowadays, it's not just about being the first, it's about being the first with a good thumbnail and a title. That's really the only thing that matters. The content itself that you put on the video is pretty much secondary. And that is extremely sad. Now, of course, you can say if a video is really, really bad, sure, yeah, maybe someone will click away, but they'll still have given one click to that video, which, while it not might contribute as much as it should, the thumbnail and the title are much more important than the content itself. The content should still at least put in the bare minimum of effort. But yeah, and this is something that is extremely frustrating, particularly because I'm not very good at doing thumbnails or doing titles or doing clickbait. As a matter of fact, I don't like doing clickbait to begin with. I don't want to trick people into clicking a video, but that is where we are nowadays. You have to do it. Like, in case you look at a content creator and you think, oh man, this content creator is like really, you know, starting to do a lot more clickbait stuff. You want to know why they're doing it? Because they don't have a choice. because that's what you need to do nowadays to actually be somewhat successful on YouTube, which maybe you shouldn't look to me for success on YouTube if you look at the status of my channel, which is not that great, but it is what it is. Now, continuing onwards, because this doesn't end here.
And I just want to do it casually and like sit back, relax, and actually have my stuff served to the same people that it was always served to before. And now suddenly it's just vastly different. I don't get it. And it's hard to talk about this stuff as well, because I'm not trying to come at this from a perspective of like, oh, woe is me, my videos should be doing better. That's not the case. If I upload something that people just aren't interested in, that's totally fine. I absolutely get it. Like I uploaded that Watcher video recently about the camera system for like a bigger universe that I'm building for Iris and like the egos and everything. And I get that that's jarring and it comes out of nowhere and it's not really anything that people can latch onto yet because the whole world hasn't been built yet. So I get if something like that does a little differently because people just don't know what to expect with it and just aren't that interested in it. But when I'm uploading like similar videos to some of my peers and then it gets like punished for that because of something I did slightly differently than them, that's a really big issue to me, because everyone should be treated fairly on the platform.
So this particular point right here is of particular importance because this is something that I run into all the time. So say, for instance, right now I'm really into a game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now I understand that there's going to be a lot of people in this channel that are not going to be interested in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But still, I would like to create content around Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because the way that I approach content creation is I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about. This has always been the case, and this is the main reason why my channel is wildly unsuccessful. Because I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about. Imagine that. And you guys might be wondering, well, how does that work? Like, why is it not successful? The reason it's not successful is because YouTube likes to put you in a nice little box. From the moment you start making your first videos, they get like even a modicum of success. Like the first videos, they get a couple of more views than your usual videos. YouTube instantly grabs you and puts you inside a box. So like, for instance, this particular channel, when it started out, it was mostly Dark Souls videos. So YouTube picked me up and said, okay, you go into the Dark Souls box. And every single time I would try to step out of that box, YouTube would slap me and say, you get back in your Dark Souls box. You get back in there or we'll punish you. You guys might be wondering, well, what's the punishment? The punishment is, imagine I upload something that was not, as I did, if you guys go back long enough throughout the history of this channel, because this channel was started in like 2011. I've actually been doing this for longer than Jacksepticeye, interestingly enough, because in the other clip he talks about he's been doing this for like 10 years. And I'm like, dude, I've been in here since 2007 in different channels, but I've been here for longer, interestingly enough. But regardless of the point is, every time that I would upload something that was not Dark Souls related, it would not get as many views. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because you're looking to gain a new audience for that particular type of content. And I think that's perfectly fine. I don't think that, you know, if I'm a channel that usually does something and then I do something different, I should instantly get all of the views that I was getting for the other thing. I don't think it would even make sense. The problem is that those videos that you make that are different from the box that YouTube put you in will then affect future videos that you make, regardless of what they are. So if I was to do, say back in the day, there was Kingdoms of Amalur, like not the re-release that we've had now, but like the actual Kingdoms of Amalur when it originally released. And I was making videos for that. And those videos were getting like no views whatsoever. And I was like, okay, I should probably drop this, go back to Dark Souls. And then Dark Souls started getting no views whatsoever as well, as a direct consequence of me doing that. So you see what I mean? It's like if you deviate from the box that they put you in, your future videos are also not going to get viewed. And this is how the algorithm was working like years ago. Now it's just way more aggressive. So like if I was to put, as a matter of fact, as I did, if I was to start putting videos in this channel about Final Fantasy XIV, some of them do well because like I was lucky with like one video or something like that. But most of them end up having a negative impact in my Monster Hunter content, which, by the way, for me to be able to cover Monster Hunter and be able to, you know, slightly nudge out of the box of Dark Souls Let me tell you, it was a lot of uploads getting complete crap views, basically destroying my previous association with Dark Souls in favor of my association with Monster Hunter, which then, when I play Dark Souls again, destroys the Monster Hunter side of it in favor of Dark Souls, and back and forwards we go, never really being able to, you know, achieve success because you're constantly doing different things. Unless you're, because, you know, when I cover a video game, I obsess over that video game. And I go super in-depth into everything that I do in that video game. Like if you do it more generalistic, like some of the larger content creators do, you can kind of get away with it. But if you go into specifics like I do, not forget about it. You're going to get punished no matter what you do. And I think that is completely and utterly ridiculous. And this is one of the reasons why you see so many content creators create like different channels all over the place. Guys might be wondering, why don't you upload to your main channel? This is why. Because you upload to your main channel and you get consequently punished. This is why I have Rurikhan Unleashed to cover MMO content, even though it's still gaming content. If I was to cover MMO content in this channel, as I've tried doing, the results are apocalyptical, and this is not a fucking exaggeration. It's just the way that it is. So now let's talk about another thing that Jacksepticeye brought up in this video that I found to be particularly important.
And I just hate how inconsistent everything is these days. As people who upload to this platform, that I'll be doing it 10 years in December. I know what consistency looks like. I know what it's like to upload that often over long periods of time, and to suddenly have things shift and be so chaotic and so inconsistent is really jarring from my perspective. And I don't really know what to do about it other than the fact that I just kind of don't want to upload videos right now.
Not surprised.
I mean, I have a couple of brand deals that I'm committed to, that I told people I would do, and like contracts and everything that I will do. But at the same time, after that, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to upload.
Now, Jacksepticeye is like, he's in a much more privileged position than I am. He can afford to basically not make videos because he's been working on this and he's accrued like millions and millions of views, and therefore he's made a significant amount of income. He doesn't really have to, I mean, I would assume if he's done the right choices with the money that he's made throughout his time on YouTube, when I compare the amount of money I've made and then the size that he has and the amount of views that he gets and all of that stuff versus the amount of money he might have made, like I'd imagine that he probably doesn't really have to work if he doesn't want to. And this is the case for a lot of the larger content creators in the platform. Most of them actually make videos because they want to, not necessarily because they need to. Now, in my case, a little bit of A, a little bit of B. I want to make videos, but I also need to make videos because I haven't reached this level of success. I probably never will. And to be honest, I don't want to. I don't want to be as big as Jacksepticeye. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, you want to be huge like PewDiePie and all this. If you ask like close friends who've always asked me about this, they'll tell you, I've always said, I don't want that. I want to be big enough to earn enough to survive. That is enough for me. I don't want to be like omega huge because too much friggin' headaches come with that stuff. And I already receive way more brand deals than I even want to do. So it's like, I don't want to be super mega huge. I want to be big enough to be able to live off of it. That's it. I don't have to be any bigger than that. And I'm still not there in case you're wondering. But yeah, it's like I can understand why Jacksepticeye is pretty demotivated, because it is very demotivating when you are brimming with creativity and you know all of these things that you want to do and that you want to talk about all these different subjects. And then at the same time, it's mega frustrating to know that if you are to engage in all of the things that you actually want to do in the platform, you're essentially going to get punished because of the way that the algorithm works and the way that the algorithm serves videos to people. And I find that the fundamental, a significant amount of YouTube audience does not understand how videos get distributed. Because whenever I talk about content creation with people, they're like, oh, I just go to the subscription fee and I see it. And let me tell you, 99% of the people that watch this platform do not watch videos from the subscription fee. Maybe you do, but 99% of the people in this platform do not. 99% of the people in this platform go to the homepage. Homepage is where most of the discoverability comes from. And breaking into that homepage, particularly if you're like less than 1 million subs nowadays, good luck. Good luck. Because it's one hell of a struggle.
Because the ecosystem that's on YouTube right now is so bland and boring to upload to. Like as an example as well, some of my videos were like really underperforming when I took like a week off. And I was like, well, I don't know why these are underperforming, because again, I know what my consistency looks like. I know what my average is. And then I upload these videos after taking time off. And it's like, are you punishing me for taking time away from my channel?
Yes. YouTube punishes content creators for taking time away from their channels. Look at the consistency of my channel. Look at how often I upload videos onto my channel, even when sometimes you might see like 5 days where I haven't uploaded a video or something like that. If you see 5 days where I haven't uploaded a video, let me tell you something. Those are 5 days that I've spent in agonizing anxiety thinking about what should I upload to the channel. Because either at the time my interests do not align with what is expected of me by the YouTube algorithm, and because I'm aware of the fact that me uploading something is probably more negative than me not uploading anything. Some of you might think whenever you see like a bout of me not uploading for 5 days, you might think, oh, Rurikhan's being lazy. No. A lot of the times, in those 5 days, I will be literally pacing back and forth thinking about what I should do. Sometimes in some of those days, I'll actually be able to work up the motivation to do a live stream on Twitch or something like that. But most of the time, I'll just be thinking like, oh God, it's like I really just want to talk about this one topic, which is still related to what I do. It's still related to gaming. But I can't. I just literally can't. Because even though I know there's an audience out there for the content that I want to do, I know that if I produce that content, what is going to happen is I'm not going to reach that audience, and I'm going to negatively affect all of the future uploads that I put on the channel. This is why I have 200,000 subs, and I'm lucky if my videos usually break 10,000. If I get like 10,000 views in my videos, to me that's like, oof. Whew, looks like the algorithm's not going to be punishing me today. Woo, goddamn. So I don't remember the last time I took a genuine break. I remember making a video around when I did that big Final Fantasy 14 thing, like right before Endwalker. And I remember making a video at that point because I spent like, I don't know, 6 hours or whatever reading like a huge Word document that I had created for the purpose of summing up the story of Final Fantasy 14. And it went to the point where like I had so many chest pains that I thought I was having a heart attack. And I remember taking a break for like 2 or 3 days when that happened. And shortly after I started making videos again. So me actually taking breaks, it doesn't happen. And this is why. Because, you know, a creator of the size of Jacksepticeye, he takes a break and he gets punished by the algorithm. Now, in his case, him getting punished is not going to be the deciding factor between whether or not he's able to put food on the table next month. Now, me, if I get slapped by YouTube, yeah, that is a factor. I need to think about, oh, next month's going to be a little bit rough because I decided to take a break, because that's how it works. You take a break on YouTube, you fall off. You fall off and the algorithm punishes you hard for not being consistent. YouTube wants absolute consistency across 365 days a year. Is it 65, 56? I can never tell, whatever. YouTube wants full consistency on you. Like if you are a channel that does daily uploads, if you stay 1 week without uploading, yeah, the algorithm's going to slap you. And most likely you're not ever going to be able to go back to the audience that you've previously had. This is one of the reasons why I've thought about quitting this for several times. I've thought about quitting doing this, but at the end of the day, I'm just so passionate about it that I keep doing it. But it is extremely unhealthy to the point where now I have like, let's just put some serious health concerns that I've been recently doing exams and stuff, and I'm still not 100% sure what is going on because I'm going to be seeing a doctor in September, in about a month from now, because that was the earliest that I could see the doctor after the exams were made. But a large part of it is because of the stress that this gives you. And here's the thing. I don't want people to think like, oh my God, poor Rurikhan, he has to like work on videos and play video games. Like, I understand. I completely understand. This is beyond of a dream job. Beyond of a dream job. Like, I'm not even arguing that to any extent. I am beyond privileged, and I am extremely lucky to have made it as far as I have. But that does not come without its own health problems. It does not come without its own mental situations that you start developing. And yeah, basically this all to sum up that if you take a break, yes, the algorithm punishes you. You don't get to take breaks when it comes to YouTube, particularly if you're my size. You don't get breaks. You have to continuously develop content nonstop. You have to make sure that if you want to stay away for like a week or two, you have to make sure that before that you damn near kill yourself recording videos so that you can have steady rate of uploads going up on the channel.
Videos.
Oops.
I don't know why these are underperforming, because again, I know what my consistency looks like. I know what my average is. And then I upload these videos after taking time off, and it's like, are you punishing me for taking time away from my channel? Surely not. And if you're not, then why are these underperforming compared to like the average of what I'm normally doing when they're the types of games that people are interested in? It's not just something out of nowhere that people wouldn't want to watch. And then it's like, were my title and thumbnail not good enough for what the current meta is, which is that like click-through rate, like getting people into the video immediately. And I feel like that ecosystem right now is all about like, what is the massive idea? Like, how much money am I giving away in a video? Like, I did this in this video and you'll never believe what happened. It's that kind of like clickbaiting into videos instead of just being like, hey, I just want to upload a video game. Here's part 1, and not have to worry about like, how do I clickbait people into it? And that, I mean, I get it, because that's just my style of YouTube. That's just the way I like doing it. I come from a place of just more casualness and like the genuine side of YouTube, instead of trying to like do huge numbers. That's never been like my thing. So I get that at some point that kind of stuff was going to take over. And it's always kind of been on the platform anyway. But for me, it's just kind of like, it's kind of killing the fun of the platform. It's not why I do YouTube. So I'm like, why am I funneling into this system that's just not that fun to do right now?
And before I wrap up this video, I would just like to give a huge thank you to Jacksepticeye for bringing these particular topics to the forefront, because this has been something that I've been wanting to talk about for the longest time. And I'm still pretty sure that this is going to have a net negative effect on the channel, but it's just been on my mind for so long. And at the same time, I'd also like to thank each and every one of you that continue to watch my videos, show up to the live streams and all of that stuff. I appreciate you all. And, you know, a lot of you guys are what keeps me going, because you guys are genuinely enjoying the content, and it's nice to know that there's still somebody out there that enjoys the stuff that I do. But it is hard sometimes due to the fact that I can't actually do everything I want, simply because the algorithm's going to slap me right back into my little Monster Hunter box if I stray too far away from it. And after that, they'll put a hole in the box, because they'll only serve my content to like 10% of the people or something like that. But yeah.